If you haven't noticed how much I'm a Lego freak, you can look at the shirt and notice that again, by the way. Okay, so that I kickstart my own presentation, I'm gonna ask you to go back in time with me, back to when you were little kids. Don't remember Legos yet. We're gonna talk about those in a bit. Just remember when the first time your parents bought you a remote controlled toy car and you kept on playing with that car every day and suddenly that car broke and you said to yourself, I can fix that, okay? Or the next time you read a book and you really enjoyed it, you actually fell in love with it and you finished it within less than 24 hours. And again, you said to yourself, I can write even better. Or that one time, especially for the millennials among us, you went into the internet, downloaded a software, the trial finished, and then you needed a serial code for it to run. You went to a website full of spam, copied the serial code, and you pasted it in there, and it worked just fine. And you said to yourself, well, now I can hack into someone's bank account and get rich. Now, so many possibilities could cross your mind as I mentioned those experiences. But the most common are, you actually disassembled that car and it never worked again. Your book ended up looking something like this, 20 pages full of this is boring, okay? And the last thing that might have happened is that you never broke into someone's bank account and you're still barely managing financially, right? So those three shared life experiences have one thing in common, that sense of curiosity. And to me, along with other people, that's one of the most interesting things that a person can know about. That sense of curiosity, for us being Lebanese in a society that finds conformity more reassuring, you never went to build your own car, toy car, for sure. You never wrote your own book or tried again, and still you're barely managing financially. So this sense of curiosity is something for me that I admire in kids, okay? Just think of a cousin or a niece or someone you know, or your own child when they start growing up and they start asking those weird questions all the time. You take them out to some coffee shop and you get them some ice cream, and they keep on asking weird questions with time. Like, why is my ice cream melting? You tell them, because it's cold and it's hot out here and it's supposed to melt. And they say, but why? Again, because ice cream is liquid in a solid state, and when heat affects it, it loses that solid state and becomes a liquid again. And you'd say, again, they'd say, but why? Heat is so mean, why would it do that? You know? And suddenly you snap. You go on, just stop asking those questions, okay? And in so many cases, those kids stop asking those questions. They lose that sense of curiosity, okay? That's what I found interesting along with other people. Now, the whole idea started back in 2006. My father found curiosity in his own school, something really interesting to explore even more. So, in 2006, he asked us, along with other kids, to start something called First Lego League, something that is a competition happening in the world where kids have to get together, around 10 kids, build a robot out of Lego, create a solution to a problem raised by the FLL challenge, and finally work together as a team. Back in 2006, almost 10 years ago now, when I was back a student, that wasn't much common, especially in our community. What he asked us to do was something totally different. He was asking us to program, something we never heard of before in a school. He was asking us to learn more about mechanical design. He was asking us to be entrepreneurs, something that is new in our society, and even working together with kids who are less than 16 years old. Just imagine me being a 16 years old talking to a kid who is 9. That's impossible. It never happened. So that's what we did. That's what we started working on back at the time. Now, the good part about it is that we went to a regional competition, and the bad part of that story is that we failed miserably. Our robot didn't work. Our solution was really far-fetched. And the only thing that went well is that we became friends. The 10 kids that were working with us were actually doing real well. We became friends, and the school decided to go on with the project. Now those challenges kept coming, and with time I had to drop off that team. I couldn't work with them anymore. I had university to take care of. So those teams went on until 2010, when we started our national competition. So that same experience we were living in our own school started going on in other schools, in other communities. And every year we met those students, we realized that it's getting bigger and better. Imagine 12-year-olds creating solutions to one of the most struggling issues for us as a humanity. Imagine them creating a machine that they code back to Losi. Now that machine wasn't supposed, it did actually work. They created a machine where we can store raw meat, because we like raw meat as Lebanese, as Middle Easterns in general, and make sure that bacteria doesn't affect it. And it worked. Some other kids created some apps for parents whose kids have learning difficulties, especially dyslexia, and they helped them learn at home by themselves. Other kids created solutions using technology to join kids with learning difficulties, with those who don't suffer from such issues, and they perfectly worked. Now, this isn't actually my own assessment. That assessment is made by professors who join us every year to judge those ideas and to make sure. And we were even more reassured every year we went to an international competition. Our teams were getting more recognized. People around the world started talking about Lebanese teams whenever they visited another country. It was really amazing. And what you're gonna see next is something that we never thought could actually happen.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, this video was of us last year winning the World Festival. It's still this year, actually. It was last April, of us, a team from Lebanon representing 49 other teams part of this competition locally, winning the World Festival in Robotics. Now, this is not a small-scale competition. You've probably noticed that from the video. There's around 83 countries other than Lebanon participating every year. There's around 1.5 million students part of it. So they did actually real well. So I'm gonna ask them just to stand and wave to you. Those guys are the programmer and designer of their team. They're actually shy, but they're not like that at all. So we achieved something that was really good. Like, we've barely heard of Lebanon being in top ranks around the world. Thank God we had some people who actually helped us reach even more around the country, reach more people. So what was the next step? You know, we achieved the highest rank possible. We just won the world championship over 46,000 teams. What was the idea of the whole thing? We didn't actually want to start a competition just for the sole reason of winning. What we had in mind is actually changing the whole concept of education. We decided to start something bigger and even better. So what we did is this year is launch something called NERD, National Education Robotics Day, in which we join teams from around the country whose ages are between 6 and 24 years old, each within their own category, competing within their own competition for the national title in that own challenge. So the whole idea is filling certain gaps that our system is actually lacking in hope that with time we create that better knowledge for our kids to be part of technology creation in the whole world instead of actually being consumers alone. We only consume technology, we only consume other mechanical stuff we find in our lives. We're not creating that technology, and we're not creating solutions that our society need. For example, most probably when it rains next Saturday, that's what they're saying, it's gonna rain. Most probably the whole tunnels are gonna get flooded, right? 3 years ago, one of the teams that were part of the competition created a tarmac that can swallow water instead of keeping it running like rivers on our streets. So those solutions are some sort of solutions that us as a society need, and that's what we're looking for in those kids. Sometime within the next 2 or 3 years, we hope that since we started involving everybody in this competition, the nerd thing, we're looking to start a technology hub for those kids to actually employ the knowledge they have created with it. They can create solutions without even worrying about financial commitment and financial help. And that's what we have done this year. Instead of actually giving up on people who don't have the financial resources to invest in such a thing, we are looking to fund 10 public schools to be part of that competition and join us as much as private schools. So, since that is established now, I'm going to leave you with one idea that I had the chance to experience and live more hands-on last April with my team, if you want to call them that way, although so many people helped with those guys, and they actually know more than I do in robotics in general. So I'm going to leave you with this one idea. They kept on repeating it. I think we had the chance to experience it real good. They say, never lose your sense of wonder, stay fast, and stay curious. Thank you.